following program is brought to you in living color on NBC.
Okay, for those keeping track, we've been given a bit of a stay of execution here, so we have until now the 9th. Barring some divine intervention or something coming through or whatever. By the 9th, pretty much, we're going to have to be out of here again. So we'll be able to come back periodically to clean up and get mail or whatever and eat. But as far as staying there full time, that's going to keep coming to a screeching halt pretty soon unless something happens. So. PayPal, Patreon down below. Alright, let's get to the subject of today's diatribe. Following up on Doomcock's rules of canon, which I thought were mostly pretty damn good. And also, getting to some pretty good cultural after effects of when you start messing with this stuff. It's like you're not just screwing around with a TV show or a movie series. You're actually screwing with our popular culture now and modern mythology. So really need to start taking this stuff seriously, guys. We start doing this. I had to go a little more tightly focused and with what we might call Captain April's rules for Star Trek canon and how to stay within it. Rule number 1. Don't contradict the original series. Fill in gaps, resolve apparent contradictions here and there, bring in more detail. Show there's more on that, a hand laser than just what we saw there. They show little hidden switches here and there, stuff we wouldn't see back then. Put little numbers on the dials, for adjusting the barrel. But don't openly cut. So no, that's not. This is how it really happened. No, we saw how it really happened. You're saying something different. You're lying. Star Trek's right. You're not. Paraphrase, yeah, we like you, but Star Trek came. We also like Star Trek, and Star Trek came first. So, guess which trumps what? And again, it's the canon. It's the original series. It's the foundation. Why am I still on these headphones? I don't know. Why are you doing Star Trek if you don't want to follow Star Trek? So, it's the main supporting load-bearing girder of the whole damn thing. You know what happens? You pull down the supporting pillar, the whole house collapses. So any of these idiots out here saying, "Oh, Star Trek is no longer canon," one, seek professional help, but also it's like you do that and you have no Star Trek. It means nothing. You got to maintain some integrity of this whole thing, or it's like you got nothing. We've all been wasting our time for the past 50 years. Of course, some people say we do that anyway, but okay. Number 2. Have someone on hand in a position of authority who's actually had some experience in working on actual Star Trek. And not JJ Trek. Real Star Trek. The established canon. Original series, animated, Next Gen, DS9, Voyager, Enterprise. And any of the 10 movies. First 10 movies. And even then you gotta be careful because not everyone who worked on these shows has the same level of respect for you. Especially if you're going to go back into the history here, do anything previous to what we've already seen on screen. You better become a true born again believer in that period and that aesthetic. God, even Rick Berman and Brandon Braga contradicted their own thing when they did that last episode of Enterprise. To the point where nobody, even Brandon Braga and Rick Berman, have said, "Sorry, we screwed up." It was meant to be a Valentine for the fans. It turned into a big fat middle finger to the franchise because and even the people on the Enterprise cast felt like we're suddenly guest stars on somebody else's show. It turned into a Next Gen episode, and even it doesn't fit with the thing they're bouncing off of. And that's gonna I'll pick up this point later, but that could have been fixed easily, too. It didn't have to be a spin-off of Pegasus. It could easily have been later on, Riker's looking at his own command and would take into account the fact that both Marina Sirtis and Jonathan Frakes visibly aged by that point. And you're not trying to fit into... There was no gap in that episode where it would have had Riker going off to the hologram for extended periods to work out his issues. So it's the thing, where the hell would this be? So I mean, I keep talking about how Discovery is not going in the and JJ is not going in the concordance. It's only under protest that these are the Voyagers going in there, and even then, there's going to be a lot of asterisks. It's like, this really doesn't fit. Like, no. I'm still trying to figure out how to write up that one. Because it contradicts itself half the time. But, yeah. You want someone, because so far, nobody in authority on Discovery has had any real experience working on actual Star Trek. I mean, the closest you got, and Nick Meyer is only a consulting producer, which means they can ignore him at their leisure. Alex Kurtzman's only really worked on the JJ Trek stuff. He's never worked on anything mainline. And I don't care how many times I say, this is Prime. No, it's not. Well, if it is, only in the sense that the Prime timeline apparently is not the original timeline. It's something totally different. Now, maybe in the Prime timeline, yeah, that's where the Kelvin and this old Spock who doesn't know how to do a time warp, yeah, that could be Prime. It's a Prime timeline, yeah. That's where, and the JJ Trek stuff is an alternate timeline from that timeline, but it's not the original timeline. It's not where the original series, and because that explains why the Kelvin's so freaking huge. They didn't have those big ships back in that period. But yeah. Get someone plenty of experience and someone who really knows how to adhere to the party line on this thing. Because otherwise you're going to screw up, you don't even know why. Which goes into number 3. Each era of Star Trek has its own look and tech level. Don't mess with it. Again, you're going to expand on details. You're going to show little things here and there, but they got to be consistent with what we've seen or you've messed up already. Now, and this is really true of any prequel for any kind of thing. It doesn't matter if it's Star Trek or All in the Family. If you're doing a prequel, you better stay close to what was already established on there, or you've already messed it up before you started. And it's like, I mean, you put in yeah, you can have little variations in the uniforms. Maybe this new phaser pistol coming in online. The entire fleet will have it. But you start bringing in the magic mushroom, infinite improbability drive, and holograms that would put Star Wars to shame when, at this very same time, on the bridge of the Enterprise, Captain Pike is looking at a hard copy printout from his computer. And all the screens are little gooseneck viewer things, and, it's... No. Forget it. You're doing the same thing as if you presented this with a U.S. Army in 1843 with tanks and automatic weapons and field radios and jeeps, and then suddenly they all magically go away in time for the Civil War. It's stupid then, it's stupid now. And really shouldn't be, trying to force this stuff. Oh, it's Prime. No, it isn't. It doesn't, no way, no how it can fit. Don't you think Janeway would be really pissed off finding out they had this thing back in the 23rd century when she really could have used it in the Delta Quadrant to get the hell home? How many crewmen died because this information wasn't imparted? Yeah. Which comes to number 4. There is never an excuse to break canon. Now, I know there were some writers hate to hear this. They want to be able to know that, they're not limited, but if they got a story that's really good, but it's got to be told like this way. You can maybe bend things a bit if there's a point that's really got to be made. But my experience is there's never any story that really, really is that incredibly good that it can't be changed anyway whatsoever to fit within canon. I mean, the options are either it's just not a suitable Star Trek story, or more likely, you're just not that good a writer as you think you are. The story's not that good that it can't be changed at all, and maybe hand it off to somebody else who can make the necessary changes to make it fit. Keep the thing, and keep this incredible story that must be told at all costs without breaking the whole thing. Which brings us to number 5. Learn about the history of Star Trek before you even attempt to write or produce it. I'm looking at you guys. apparently one of the shouting matches that happened in the Discovery Writers' Room involved one of them, I think maybe in Aaron Harbor, saying, what the bleep is Deep Space Nine? I can understand missing an occasional episode here and there and not knowing about what happened, like in the counterclock incident, or not being aware of a first season Next Gen, but to not even know about Deep Space Nine, 7 years and a big chunk of record right there, and it's not that long. It's a more recent spinoff. It's in the 24. It's like I did not even know about that, and make yourself look like an idiot in front of the other writers for one thing, because these guys in charge. That's beyond just unforgivable. That's like clear your office out and get off the lot by the end of the day. That's like you have no business being on this production anywhere. You try and use this as a reference. We'll deny you're even here. That's kind of level, okay? And they're littered with these guys, and they got writers that have no experience in the genre. Never mind, on Star Trek. And Star Trek is a very specialized type of thing to work with. It's not like any other show, even the sci-fi shows. Because you have this canon, and you also got dweebs like us out here who are taking and it's not just a recent phenomenon because of you can't blame the internet. People were writing into the show back in the day in the 60s. Asking why the transporter flashed like 3 times in this episode, 4 times in that episode, and like twice in this one. The fans were keeping track back then. That's why we have a Star Trek Concordance. Because a lady by the name of Dorothy Jones was taking notes on the show, and Bejo said, hey, how about we put this in a book? So this is not a new phenomenon, guys. You better get used to it. You want to work in Star Trek? Guess what? We're part of the package. And speaking of that, I'd like to know who the hell these super fans are that are supposed to they're local on-site canon experts that are supposed to be keeping them straight because they're either completely incompetent or they're being completely ignored. Either one is unacceptable. But yeah, there's my 5 rules for Star Trek canon, how to keep it holy. And whether it'll be heard, I don't know. Who knows? I'm one guy shouting to the internet. But you never know. Things go viral, things catch up. Maybe I'll be putting up one of these superfan comments. I can say, nope, that didn't work. No, this is stupid. My comments, I can tell right now, if I were to get on this thing, it'd go beyond just, that doesn't match with that episode. It'd be, this is stupid. Starfleet would not hire anybody this incompetent. They would let a ship sit there for 6 months in front of the Klingons. And the Klingons would be that stupid to let it sit there without even looking at it. That sort of thing.
Written with the finger of God.
Go, get thee down, for thy people have corrupted themselves.
Anyway, PayPal, Patreon down below, and coffee, and Cafe Press, and anything I can think of. I'm thinking I might do a Teespring thing, get some actual merch going on here. That should do it for now. So, like I said, we're getting to a little zero timer. We didn't make it the launch. The rocket went off at like 5 in the morning. We wouldn't have made it anyway. But apparently it went off okay. So, we'll catch you later.
Now, on BBC One, a brand new look to launch the early evening lineup. At 7 on Tuesdays and Thursdays, drama with the EastEnders. On Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, the live and lively entertainment is provided by Terry Wogan.